Alright, so MELASCULA and GALAND challenge boss is here on global. And here, I'm in JP clearly, but you know, it's on global. So here's how you're gonna get high points. I haven't really gone for a high point run yet, but I know the strategy very well here. It's not that complicated. This is the main team. We're gonna be showing two teams here because obviously a lot of people didn't summon for DN. It just wasn't the best summon, right? Terrible banner, stuff like that. But this is going to be the best team because the end gives a lot of basic stats. And then we have a lot of basic stats coming from Matrona. And obviously Sky is also Giants, which is in there. Lizhawk, you could also just run LR Liz, and it's a simpler run. But Lizhawk does give you more. I think it's just better off to run Lizhawk anyways. Bottom three of the checklist here. We're using the Sins card set for DN. And HP food with full HP defense gear. There's no need for any funky gear like removing any pieces or anything, just straight up HP defense for most stats possible, and we're going to go in. The gimmick of this fight is buff removal. So there I have played quite a bit, you know, just for farming, buying the items, because the items at the shop are very important. And there are two missions that have to do with buff removal. One is to remove a total of 10 buffs, and one is to use buff removal cards 5 times. Now that is going to be the RNG here. If you just don't get a lot of buff removal cards, that's a dead run. You know, you guys know how it is a final boss, right? It's not consistent. You're going to be getting dead runs if you just get unlucky, right? So, they should kill GALAND. When GALAND dies here, you want to kill GALAND first because he's going to get a buff from MELASCULA. You're going to remove that buff. Second phase is where your points are going to come in because that's where GALAND pops off a bunch of buffs. And you're going to be able to get yourself a ton of buff removals. Now, you might have noticed I'm not using any Lizhawk cards. MELASCULA's commandment is always active. So if you just don't use any Lizhawk cards, she's going to keep getting more debuffs on her, thus, you know, getting her passive up. Can we just two-shot her here? I think we can. So I'll do that, and then I'll waste this Lizhawk card here, just for space. Nice. Yeah, Scotty is just a monster here. Especially because you're going to be stacking a lot of debuffs on her, potentially. Same thing as first phase. You saw me going for GALAND first. We're going to go for GALAND first as well. But we don't want to pop off too hard. We want to let him get buffs again, so we can remove them again. Ideally, we would have more Scotty cards here, but it's fine. You want to do this within 8 turns to, you know, proc the other mission. But you can take your time a bit. It doesn't have to be like a speed run, because you do want to remove those buffs. It's fine. And Lizhawk, you know, as long as you don't attack with her, she's going to be constantly getting those thingies. Alright, just attack here. Ideally, I'll be getting more Scotty cards. I'm just going to pop one of these buff removals and then move on to the next turn. This is not going to kill her. You just have to, I'm pretty sure you just have to use a buff removal card 5 times. You don't have to remove buffs 5 times. Yeah, this is why I put Armor Link on Lizhawk. She gets targeted quite heavily here. Being blue and all. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to switch now. Yep. And GALAND gets buffs again. What? That's inconsistent? Every time I've done this, GALAND gets buffs. Oh, because he had ulted before. Okay, well. I've had a run where he ulted before, and then ulted after he transformed. Well, I guess that's gonna be RNG, but he's gonna regain buffs. That's what I was talking about. He's gonna keep regaining buffs from ulting. You know, GALAND ult. This is a different GALAND ult, because regular GALAND ult has a single target, but is an AoE. Remove. Attack. remove again. This is gonna kill. And then we get to remove the revive, or not revive, the, you know, the, what's the name of that? Whatever. The MELASCULA passive. We get to remove the MELASCULA passive. And now we can just kill MELASCULA. Now it's done. Wait, did we remove them? Oh, I think this is gonna be our 10th buff we remove. So it's perfect here. We'll stance first. Remove buff, attack, and this should be a kill. Was this the... No. Did we do less than 10? I think we did. Oh my god. It's because he didn't ult first. 7.4. I've had a 10 buff removal run, but that was with LR Liz, so I didn't get as much points. But yeah, that's the strat, you know. If you just get lucky, and your cards... That was pretty good luck. Like, we didn't get the 10 buff removals, which that's unfortunate, but the cards were fantastic. Now let me show the next scene. Alright, so the premise here is the same. We're going to be using Askner for the buff removals, and this is like a very super high stat buffing team. We got Arthur for HP buff. We got Zaneri, her Holy Relic gives basic stats now. We got HP from her, forgot her name. Then we got obviously Askner here. These are the cards set for extra attack, and everyone's using HP defense. No funky gear. HP food, and same stuff. I guess some people might have skipped the first team to go to the more free-to-play friendly team with no DN, but I'll be repeating myself a lot if I if I don't acknowledge. Strategy the exact same, but we want to make sure that one of our characters doesn't attack because Zaneri needs to actually cleanse debuffs for her relic. We need to do, what, 10 debuffs? So as long as we never attack with Arthur, we should be getting him constantly debuffed and cleansing him. Again, same exact thing. We're just going to go for Galand first so we can get a debuff taken out of him. And that should work fine. I think... As long as MELASCULA is also like popping her debuff cards and stuff, we should be getting Zaneri's passive, but not passive, relic, done rather quickly. Yeah, let's just make sure he dies here. Then we got the buff removal from Ascanor. You could, I think this is one that you can actually play around with here. This is a very easy team to get out and going, so I'm not thinking anyone's gonna be complaining about this one. It's like, oh, I need to use LR Ascanor. Listen, man, you gotta evolve into the game at some point. Getting them LRs, alright? Alright, let's get this going. I didn't want to use this card, but I want to get to the second phase as fast as possible because we want to finish this, you know, within 8 turns. And the second phase is where you're gonna get most of your points. Okay. No buff removal! This is what I was talking about with RNG. No buff removal is tragic. I'm not gonna lie. Because we want to get that, we want to get those buffs out already, so he can. No buff. Well, that's just RNG. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna do the run because in the first run it was very well explained, and I showed like all you're looking for is removing those buffs. You gotta use 5 buff removal cards, which we're not getting any, so that's not helping. And we have a tight, you know, number of turns we have here to do, so it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Got 8 turns to play around with. No buff removal. No. I'm not gonna get a good score, but you know. Galand already lost his buffs. You guys got it. Remove the buffs from Galand. Galand didn't even get the ultimate because I sealed his ult gauge, bro. Need to remember Notch Seal. Galen's ult gauge is an airy. Buff removal? Potentially. 1. Okay. Would this be better off with allowing... No. Allowing ults would not be worth it. Whatever, I'm just gonna finish this. Whatever. This is gonna have terrible score. We do have a lot of stats, so you know, in terms of the stats, we do get a lot from it. But like this kit, I think this can easily get 7,000 plus. This team can easily get 7,000 plus. You just get the buff removals and you're gonna be good to go. Alright, now for the farm. Alright, so this is the team that I found that clears the absolute fastest it is possible. The fastest you can clear this event is in 3 turns, because Melascula in the second phase is like an immortality that takes a turn to go away. If you don't have Mikasa, you can swap her for like Ban or something, like a different like human stat buffer, you know, in the back. It has to be human for Askinger's passive. I mean, you probably don't even need Askinger's passive, but ideally you want to have it, right? If you don't have keys in the... I think you can go without her, but ideally you'd want to have keys in the... But this is very simple. It does, in fact, clear in the fastest amount of turns it is possible. I did get a level 2 for Roxy here, but that's a waste because the level 1 kills. But Kizuna, boom, get the attack with the stab off. Roxy level 1 will one-shot. As you can see, we do way too much damage here. Kill him. Second phase. First things first, remove buff from Galand. The other attacks don't really matter. We're gonna get the added bonus tracker, just kill Galand here. You don't have to. I mean, you have to wait until next turn until it's done anyways, because Nask has a immortality buff right there. But yeah, this is the absolute minimum turns you can do. Would have been possible to 2-turn, if not for that immortality, but you know, it is what it is. There you go. Super easy, clean. If you don't have Roxy, I don't know.